Who knew that Trump was this funny? He was out there in Minnesota at a rally, and he turned it into a comedic show.
First platform. Who put this stage up here? This is the frickin' place is falling down. It keeps tilting further left. Like too many other things. What a crappy contractor this was. He's all about disinformation. Pilots come in, he said, I used to fly a plane. Truckers come in, I used to drive a truck. People come in from Minnesota, I used to live in Minnesota.
Right.
Right? He is so full of shit, this guy. Terrible.
Hey.
No, I have fake tappers. They said, I just want to debate this guy, but, you know, and I'm gonna demand a drug test, too, by the way. I am. No, I really am.
All right.
I don't want him coming in like the State of the Union. He was high as a kite. Is that Joe up there? A beautiful robe? And by the end of the evening, he's like, well, it was exhausted, right? You know, it's a funny thing. I don't know if you can see it out there. Does anybody have good eyes out there? Because this is, okay, so I just got this today. Somebody handed it to me. So weird, and not as a joke. I said, anybody have any Tic Tacs? And the guy said, yeah, I have one. Look at the size of that sucker. Can you see that, Pete? This is called Biden Tic Tacs.
Wow.
Can you see it, Tom? This costs more money than the one that was like 10 times bigger. This is inflation. That's a perfect. The guy actually handed me, do you have any Tic Tacs? Yeah, here, take mine, sir. I said, what the hell is that? Thank you very much.
Trump, man, this guy, man, I need my president back. He was up there, bro, off the top of the dome, too. He didn't have to get no teleprompter jokes and none of that. All right, then and there. He said, look, this podium is leaning more to the left. That was pure gold. But the one thing, on the serious note, that I agree with them on is actually drug testing Biden. Come on, man. We finding cocaine at the White House. We finding it at it was at the Capitol building as well. You got your son on trial. One day you can't say one sentence. The next day you got enough energy to jump cut at least a 1 minute worth of material to be able to respond to Trump's debate situation. And I can't wait for that to happen. I'm honestly excited, and we got to keep in mind though, if CNN is going to be moderating this, it's Trump against two people, really, honestly. Well, three, because if you want to talk about CNN's base, yeah, there's that. But this is why he's going to win by a landslide. This man has to come back. The streets definitely want Trump back. I don't know what we was doing voting against him to get Biden in office. I don't know. Anyhow, let's listen to Biden talk about Trump and his extreme MAGA Republicans, and saying that we are responsible for taking away fundamental freedoms in America. Can you believe this clown?
Little Rock 9 were met with vitriol and violence. Today, the resistance comes in other insidious forms. An extreme movement led by my predecessor and his MAGA Republican allies, backed by an extreme Supreme Court, gutted affirmative action in college admissions. My predecessor and his extreme MAGA friends are now going after diversity, equity, and inclusion all across America.
You need merit.
They want a country for some, not for all.
No, we want everybody to have equal opportunity, just not equal outcome. Like, that's just not how life works.
And let's not kid ourselves, folks. This is the God's truth, what I'm saying.
What is that?
My predecessor and his extreme MAGA friends are responsible for taking away other fundamental freedoms, from the freedom to vote to the freedom.
No. I'm not going to say unless you do that. Nobody's trying to take away the freedom to vote. We're just trying to make sure that it's legitimate. We've seen the videos where people were stuffing multiple, at different times of the day, multiple mail-in ballots. All we're saying is we need something to make sure that this doesn't become an issue in the future. We already had to deal with it. What are you talking about? Then you're talking about the freedom to choose, which is the pro-life, pro-choice movement, when the man literally said he does not want to do a national ban on abortion. He's going to leave it to state by state. That way, based on your belief system, hey, you got places where people believe in what you believe and people don't believe in what you believe, but it still creates a even playground, fair play ground for everybody. What?
To choose. But I've always believed that the promise of America is big enough for everyone to succeed. And I mean that, everyone to succeed.
It's crazy. This man sitting here and say he wants everybody to succeed, but you over here literally scraping us tax-paying people. You're just soaking the life out of us with inflation. You over here literally lying to the people. You're trying to... Let me calm down, y'all. I gotta remember I'm on YouTube. A lot of the stuff I be really wanting to say that I be having to really just go, woo. But back to the whole debate scenario, because this man threw me out track. Who do y'all think will win in this debate? Talk about rhetorical question. My support of Trump is purely because I support Trump. But for whatever reason, you have these news anchors saying that people like me are being paid to manipulate black voters against Joe Biden. I'm sorry. And Van Jones, of all people, is the one who said this. Van, first of all, like Vivek, just shut the fuck up. Two, I don't think that we have to do anything to convince black voters in terms of going for Trump. I think that the last 3.5 years have convinced black voters themselves.
What's actually happening, though, is that there is an online influence campaign. Correct. Some of it, I think, is coming from Russia, China, and Iran. That is whipping up that conversation way unnaturally. But let me ask you. You have a question I want to answer. So there's a solid block that's not going to move. There is some actual legitimate frustration and fatigue, but there's also, and we have to talk about it more, an online influence campaign designed to depress and distress black voters and to split black voters.
And that pisses me off because, dude, that's literally not the case. We're literally fighting for truth and lies. And for whatever reason, when people start to spill the truth, you have people out there who will literally smear it and call it a lie and then try to sit there and go, oh, well, now y'all got us battling each other. You turned it into that. All I'm here to do is deliver the truth. That's it, bro. Facts matter. And I think that projection is nobody's going for that anymore. You know, he made the claim that, seriously, that black voters, we are somehow, the support for him is somehow being manufactured. He can't fathom this actually being, you know, a real thing. Tell you what, I believe that just like I believe 2020 was real. 2020 actually happened in favor of Biden. I'm gonna just say that. All I gotta say is all of these tactics that y'all trying to use, the MAGA Republicans are trying to take away your freedoms, and you talk about pro-choice and all this other stuff that can literally be debunked if you just go do a little bit of research. The man is quite literally lying. Then you got Van Jones out here saying that people can't actually support Trump off of their own merit and off of their own research and knowledge and shit like that. They have to have been persuaded and are being persuaded. That's an insult too, to say that, oh, I can't come to conclusions by myself. What? Somebody has to persuade me? You don't think highly of me, Mr. Van Jones. You might not think highly of yourself. We share the same color. And you're in a very successful position, my guy. Wow.
Hey, yo, what's up there? You know, this morning, on my way to the gym, I would listen to one of our radio station here in the Atlanta metro area, one of the urban stations, and they had a segment going on, whereas the listeners had a chance to call in and to talk about what the fascination with Trump, why are they so fascinated with Trump? All the support, and especially when he in his motorcade, they would line up, just cheering for him, right? So they're trying to find out what the fascination. And these phone calls are coming in, right? Like 100% positive about how they support Trump. Trump like one of us now. He understands what we're going through and all that good stuff, right? Of course, the radio station, they have another agenda, right? So Of course, they throw their talking points. What about January 6th? What about his, I don't know, what, 20, 30, 80 indictments? I don't know what them, they all fake anyway. And they kept asking them dumb questions. And keep in mind, they're so stupid. The more they should understand, more they keep bringing it up by some indictments, because we all know they lies, right? The more we can support him. They trying to just pull us away from Trump, man. It's not going to happen. But anyway, it was overwhelming support for Trump on these phone calls. And this is all black people, all the black listeners calling in. So he got desperate, right? The radio station, I guess his boss or somebody, they said, let's call in the mayor of Atlanta, which he's a black guy, right? So they call in the mayor, and they start asking them questions, what his take on the support from the African American community with Trump, right? Of course, he said, well, Trump is so divisive, and he did this. Just made up some bullshit out of just some crazy shit, right? Of course, they asked him, what Trump, did Trump have anything to offer to your constituents here in the Atlanta area, in Georgia? Of course, they're going to say no. What are they expecting to say? Yes. Fuck, it's just a loaded question, right? Even, it's all negativity about Trump.
Yep.
And one thing they don't realize, more they talk negative shit about Trump, the more they talk negative shit about Trump, the more we're gonna continue to support this dude, man. Anyway, it was like a colossal failure, because they trying to persuade the voters, the callers, that they shouldn't vote for Trump. Why supporting Trump? He's same old crap again.
Mm-hmm.
He's a white supremacy.
All that.
He's a racist.
They had a commercial on the radio. I'll tell y'all about after this.
We all know that's a fucking lie too, though. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, it was a pretty good interview. And once again, they are stumped, and they don't know what the hell to do, because what's gonna happen? They're not gonna change our mind. They can promise you this. They can keep using that race baiting, white supremacy stuff and all that kind of crap. We know what Joe Biden is. We know he's not calling the shot. Of course not. But we know what his administration, what they're doing. So, hey, man.
It's too late.
Go to Atlanta, baby. One more thing. I guarantee you, if the election...
He said, I guarantee you.
in hell today in Georgia, I promise this right now, Trump would get them, what it was short, 11,003, 10,003, something like that. He would get those votes right now from the African American in the Atlanta metro area. I guarantee you this, because what has happened is
I guaranteed you this, bro. He almost sound like the black conservative. Shout out my dog, black conservative, but man, they speak like that.
Those guys who voted for Biden in 2020, they realized they made a mistake, and I guaranteed you, if Trump was on the ballot today, he would win Georgia, and not by no 1 point.
Landslide.
He would win by 4 or 5 points today because of the African American vote. Boop, see ya.
Man, everything he said in this video, 100% agree with, for sure, man. Y'all not gonna be able to just spray cologne over the must no more. It's not gonna happen. We smell the buffoonery and everything that's happening out there. But yeah, I'm listening. I'm driving in the car yesterday, and I'm listening to the radio, and a Joe Biden anti-Trump ad comes on, and it's a white guy going to a black guy's house. Mind you, think about this. He keep playing on white, black. So, in this commercial, it's all audio. It's this guy knocking on doors to try to convince people to vote for Trump. A white guy, by the way. He knocks on the black guy door, and the dude like, hey, how you doing, or whatever. And the white guy's like, yeah, so you gonna get your vote for Trump? He's like, no, the black guy. No, the guy who's a white supremacist. Yeah, the guy whom, wants to remove choice from women. The guy who's this, and I'm like, what? What? Like, the lies, bro. Like, is it all right to be somebody who believes in pro-choice? and I mean pro-life and run the country, but say, hey, even though I have my set of beliefs, I'm still gonna leave it up to the state for you guys to be able to vote whether you want you want abortion or you don't want it banned. I think that's pretty fair, man. Anyhow, let me get up out of here. Y'all go check on somebody today. You could be saving their life. I just tell you what, the Dems, the lefts, the liberal, I meant to say the liberals and then the left. I put an S at the end of the lefts. But anyhow, yeah. Y'all trying to convince us with just a poster and just yelling over somebody to tell us what's wrong and what's right. It ain't gonna work no more.